All right, we're going to pick up where we left off. I'm going to apologize for some of the background noise. I've been trying to wait for a quieter time, but there just isn't one. So I'm going to have to move forward with this as it is. So last time we made our class, our person, we were going to make our players for our game out of this person class. We made player 1 and enemy 1. They were of the same class. So what we did is we gave them a state, but we didn't give them any actions yet. So I'm going to show how we can get some actions and actually use them here. So within the person class, we define the initialization function. That is an action. The other things we can do is we can give them any other actions that we want. So let's just define some other things that our player is going to probably want to do. Well, our player is going to attack. The player's going to attack, so I'm going to give him a generating damage function. I've already made it up here, so I'm just going to paste it in. So the object is going to generate damage, and we're going to send the object into there. And so then returning a random number in the range between their high attack and their low attack. So we're not going to get the exact same attack amount every single time they attack. It's going to be somewhere between their low attack and their high attack. That's why we made the two states before. So both of our players, both our player and our enemy, are going to be able to generate some damage here. If they're generating damage, they're going to have to also be able to take damage. So we'll give them a function to take damage. And this function is going to have to be able to change their hit points that they have right now. So we have to take the object in, and we have to take the amount of damage that they actually are going to take. And we're going to take whatever their hit points are and take that damage off. Here we're going to have to do a little bit of a check, because if their hit points fall below 0, we're just going to want to set them to 0. That'll make it easier to figure out when our game's over, as opposed to having it'll just make it easier a little later. So we'll just return our hit points to 0, and then we're going to return those hit points back to the program. So our player is going to be able to generate some damage, and he's going to be able to take some damage. So if we start this right here, we already have our player 1 person, enemy 1 person, and we have printing out the player and their max hit points. So then what I want to do is just do a simple print here, print player 1 dot generate damage. Passing the self in there. And I just want to see how much that gets. So we're going to run it here. Character's name. Link. Oh, self is not defined. Here, let's quickly try. Oh, I didn't import our integer here. Import random. Alright. Because we're going to use the function random.randRange. Yep. So that should run here. Just trying to get all my stuff, all my ducks in order. Link. Oh, there you go. I just hit the wrong run there. So, we got our character's name. It was Link. The Link's maximum hit points are 100. Soldier's maximum hit points are 20. And then Link generated some damage that was 23. He hasn't done anything yet with that damage. He just generated some damage. We're going to also have our soldier take some damage then. So after this, we're just going to print out what happens. Actually, we're going to just we're going to say damage, DMG, equals player gen damage. There we go. And then we'll print the damage, amount, and then we're going to have print enemy 1, take damage, and he's going to take the damage of DMG. And so, what we should get here is we're going to set the damage to whatever we're generating the damage as. Then we're going to print that damage out so we know it's working. And then our enemy is going to take that amount of damage. And what we have here is when we take damage, it returns the hit points. So if we kill the enemy, it should have 0. So we'll just run this really quickly. Still asking for my character's name, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Character name Link. So soldier's maximum hit points are 20. Link's hit points are 100. Soldier's hit points are 20. He took 20 damage exactly, which worked out nice. And then he went down to 0. Just run it again. See if he gets. He shouldn't. Hopefully, he shouldn't take the exact same amount of damage again. So now he took 17 damage, and so his hit points are 3. So this here we have now our players doing some actions. We just have 2 basic functions: generating damage and taking damage, and then we can print those. We can print those amounts here. So I could then do basically the same thing on a second loop here, except letting the enemy take some, doing some damage to the player. Alright, so we'll just run this really quick. Once again, asking Link. Name. Then our soldier took 20 hit points of damage, so he's down to 0. Then he was able to do a death blow, knocking 5 damage off us. So this is his dying action. So what we can do here is the next things we're going to do is look at making a loop where our game loop runs until somebody's dead. And that's really how we're going to get our game going here. So that's just what I wanted to do here. I'm just going to quickly scan over some of the stuff that I have set up here that I've given mine. I gave my character a generating damage. I gave them some taking damage that we saw. I made a healing function, and so if we had a healing potion or something like that, we'd be able to use this healing function if we use it. I have a function for reducing the magic power if we have magic and we're using it. I have a function for just getting hit points. These are optional functions for sure, because returning the hit points and getting the amounts could be done just as easily by calling on the object. But then I have a couple that I have that are really going to be important here. Choosing the action, so our player's we're going to have a little choice now. We're going to have to build that in. And if we choose magic, what's going to happen? If we choose an item, how are we going to do that? So I have those functions built in here. What I'd like you to do is just take a few functions that you think are going to be useful. You can use some of the templates here. Add them to your class's definition. So we have our class's definition here, and we have a definition for his initialization function, and then a couple different functions that he's going to have to do to complete the actions that he's going to want to do in the game. This here is just a simple fighting simulation. If you're doing something different, where you're like doing navigating a maze or something, of course your actions will be different. So that's where we're going to head. And then next time when we come back, we're going to look at making a while loop to run our game until an end condition is met.